dear child, lend me your ear, for what you are about to learn will profoundly alter your perception of yourself, your history, and the dynamics with which others have interacted with you. You may believe they overlooked you, underestimated you, or judged you due to your quiet nature. However, the reality is far more complex, unsettling, and intentional. As you entered that space adorned in your attire, a universal exchange of glances transpired, one filled with confusion, anxiety, and unfounded assumptions. They failed to recognize your essence, your journey, or your extraordinary potential. Instead, their attention fixated on your garments, leading them to erroneous conclusions about your identity. Whispering to one another about a role that betrayed their perceptions more than it defined you. Unbeknownst to them, their misinterpretation ignited a celestial response they were ill-equipped to handle. The truth of your being is poised to emerge in ways that will leave an indelible mark on their lives. When you stepped into that room, an eerie stillness took hold, yet you remained blissfully unaware, simply existing in your authentic self, calm, introspective, and carrying the weight of your world within. Regrettably, to them, your simplicity appeared dubious, your confidence was perceived as defiance, and your style suggested a deliberate intent. They believed that someone with your disposition had no rightful place among them unless it was to serve or submit. That is when they muttered a term, a categorization, a label, a vocation that entirely contradicted your spirit and your purpose. They assumed you were of a modest profession, associated with a status they believed coincided with your attire. They did not see that those very clothes were not indicative of your essence but rather a veil, a challenge, a form of protection. They remained unaware that a powerful presence, far beyond their comprehension, had positioned you there to unveil their concealed truths. You were not meant to overhear their whispers, yet the universe deemed it necessary for you to do so. From one corner, a quiet chuckle emerged, a disparaging smirk from another. And as you instinctively retreated, you remained oblivious to the seismic shift caused by your mere act of stepping back. The instant they misjudged you, a cosmic archive unfurled, revealing truths long dormant, waiting patiently for the opportune moment to disclose your genuine identity and the significance of your arrival in that place at that particular time, clad in garments that would unveil their authentic selves. Child, as they miscalculated your worth, they inadvertently laid bare their greatest insecurities, insecurities that spoke volumes in silence. You are about to grasp that you were never out of place or inadequately attired. You were meticulously positioned as a reflected image of their own fears. They presumed you belonged beneath them, yet in truth, they will soon awaken to your true ascendance. Each presumption will inevitably rebound upon them like an unavoidable boomerang. As unforeseen events commence, the ringing of unexpected calls, startling changes, and disconcerting truths that destabilize their complacent existence, they will seek to trace the origins of this upheaval back to you. They will recall your attire, the moment of judgment, and the quiet figure that entered, unknowingly bearing a destiny loftier than any label they affixed. Stay with me, for the impending collision of their misconceptions and your true potential will resonate so resoundingly that the world surrounding you will transform irreversibly. My dear child, a significant shift occurred the moment you exited that room. Even if you were unaware, an oppressive atmosphere enveloped them, their discussions grew tense, and their self-assuredness began to erode in unforeseen ways. While they presumed you were something trivial and inconsequential, a silent tempest formed, driven by the universe's will to reset the scales. They remained oblivious to the fact that forces grander than their judgments were aligning, catalyzed by the moment they whispered about your garments. In doing so, they instigated a series of events that would return to them with undeniable force. Without their knowledge, they are now being scrutinized, assessed, and unveiled in ways they never imagined possible. Amidst their murmurs, a silent observer remained, a person who had stayed hushed throughout. This individual did not deride you, rather, they attentively analyzed you, not your attire, nor your reticence, but your very essence. They perceived something timeless in your presence, an unwavering strength that eludes explanation. An inexplicable affinity emerged, a sensation that was realized that you did not navigate that space alone, something had accompanied you. This discreet watcher is now an unexpected ally, poised to speak when truth necessitates revelation, ready to unveil the concealed narratives that transpired beyond your awareness. Soon, they will step forward, armed with a truth that will silence every disparaging voice that once spoke against you. Remain close, for the unfolding events herald a turning point in your journey, as the universe readies to shine a light on your path. Somewhere, your name is being uttered not with disdain, but with intrigue, admiration, and genuine concern. Someone of significance is eager to uncover your true essence, intrigued by your effortless presence and the enigmatic allure that shrouds you in humility. In time, they shall unveil the truth. You are not an individual destined to toil under others, instead, you are called to rise above many. Their misinterpretation will ultimately become the catalyst for their fixation on you. Understand that your choice of attire was never an error or a display of frailty, it was crafted by fate as a means of discerning who is deserving to align with you and who is not. Before the next transformation occurs, I urge you to do one thing: remain focused, eyes fixed ahead. What transpires next is a revelation that your audience must witness alongside you. A figure of authority is on the verge of entering this narrative, a presence whose arrival will alter everything. This individual will unveil the truth behind the whispers, the clandestine conversations, the assumptions, the judgments, all will converge, culminating in a moment so powerful that they shall have no means of evading it. There exists a purpose in your receiving this message at this precise moment. The universe has chosen to disclose what has remained veiled for far too long. Very soon, you will comprehend why your attire elicited such responses, the role you unwittingly assumed, and how this minor misconception is set to redefine your destiny in ways unfathomable to those in the room. My dear child, what you are about to learn will not only astonish you, but it will also provide clarity to every perplexing glance, every whispered remark, and every abrupt behavioral shift you experienced. The actual narrative commenced the moment you departed, believing the scene concluded. The individuals who evaluated you based on your jacket could not restrain their conversations about you once you were gone. They thought they were ridiculing you, yet they remained oblivious to the emergence of their own trepidation. One queried, what would compel someone like them to dress in that manner? Another suggested, perhaps they're employed here, merely playing at belonging. And the third, the individual who shields their insecurities with pretense, leaned in and asserted, I find it hard to trust. Something about them does not align with their attire, something feels amiss. They failed to recognize just how accurate their assessment was, for nothing about you conformed to their limited understanding. You are unpredictable, indescribable, and beyond their measurements. Your presence was intended to confound, allowing the truth to illuminate who they genuinely are. As they deliberated, unbeknownst to them, a vigilant figure beyond their sight picked up on their contemptuous tone and relayed it to a person unfamiliar to you, a person whose choices hold greater influence over outcomes than your critics could ever imagine. This individual learned your name and the injustices you faced, awakening within them a fierce sense of protectiveness, an acute curiosity, and a fervent desire to unearth the complete narrative. Thus, the course of your destiny begins to shift. When an influential individual expresses curiosity about you, the universe conspires to unveil the truth. Those who once mocked you begin to attract unwelcome scrutiny. Inquiries arise regarding their integrity, conduct, and hidden motivations. They aimed to expose you but inadvertently revealed their own flaws. Behind closed doors, a significant development is underway. Your name is now associated with someone who holds the power to determine futures. This is not due to any wrongdoing or judgment against you, but rather an attempt to comprehend why someone with your energy, presence, and quiet strength entered that space appearing as if they belonged to a lowly position. This individual perceives beyond mere fabric and societal labels. They seek to understand the deeper question that could disrupt the entire situation. Who are you, truly? This inquiry is poised to alter your reality for the better. You may perceive your narrative as insignificant, yet your energy contradicts that notion. You might feel unrecognized, yet someone of importance has indeed noticed your worth. What you believed were unassuming garments actually set you apart in profound ways. They sparked curiosity among the powerful and discomfort among the insecure, prompting the wrong individuals to reveal their true selves. Consequently, every act of misjudgment is metamorphosing into unique opportunities tailored for you. Something significant looms on the horizon, connecting every element, every moment of judgment, every whispered suspicion. The universe is orchestrating movements, aligning pathways, and preparing to disclose the reasons behind your presence in that room and the surprising significance of your attire. Your garments did not confine you, rather, they distinguished you. I assure you, dear child, that the energy remained charged the moment you departed. Those who whispered thought their remarks had gone unnoticed, yet the universe has its way of unveiling concealed conversations at opportune moments. An individual who passed by absorbed enough of their intentions for a fragment of truth to ignite into a wildfire. Suddenly, their dismissive assumptions became alarming and revealing. The humor faded as they confronted what they had overlooked. One individual kept stealing glances toward the door, fearful of your return, while another checked their phone, realizing their volume was imprudent. The third, the originator of the disparaging rumor regarding your attire, began to internally spiral, sensing the situation slipping from their control. They judged you, yet now they feel the weight of judgment from an unseen force. Unbeknownst to them, the individual whose interest in you holds significance has not ceased their inquiries. They have initiated a silent evaluation aimed at uncovering why the atmosphere altered upon your arrival, why people reacted as they did, and what deeper essence your presence exuded. Reports are being juxtaposed, language scrutinized, and patterns revealed, leading to a realization that your clothing did not dictate your status but unveiled the character of others. Someone influential, whom they fear more than they admit, has resolved that the truth must be uncovered. They wish to converse with you, not to interrogate, but to clarify the distortions woven by others in your absence. Herein lies the crux of fate's design. While they endeavored to portray you as insignificant, they forgot one crucial element: destiny relishes in using the underestimated to humble the arrogant. You did not don labels, they did. Their garments bore insecurity, jealousy, and a sense of superiority, while you embodied silence, humility, and predestined purpose. Now, the narrative is shifting. Those who once scorned you sense an impending force they cannot halt. They whisper no longer about you, but rather about the consequences drawing nearer. Their apprehension mounts as they recognize their error in judgment. Meanwhile, the influential figure observing your unfolding story is preparing to make a decision that will alter your trajectory. They have perceived the calm, dignity, and strength you carry, qualities that cannot be feigned or procured. They suspect that your presence was intentional, orchestrated for a purpose that transcends appearances. They feel an unseen force guiding your entry into that room to bring hidden truths to light. They are correct. For you were never evaluated based on your attire, rather, they were judged by their intentions. The truth is on the verge of erupting, like a long-sealed envelope finally torn open. What is about to transpire will elevate your identity from being misunderstood to being unforgettable. The revelation is imminent, and it carries a weight far more potent than they are equipped to confront. Beloved child, when the influential figure chose to delve deeper into your narrative, an unseen force initiated action across every corridor, every discussion, and every recollection tied to that day. They did not merely inquire about your identity, they sought to comprehend your purpose for being there. The responses they gathered were not what your detractors anticipated. The individuals who once ridiculed your attire can no longer shield themselves behind their laughter, their voices quaver as they attempt to rationalize their misconceptions. Their confidence fractures under the recognition that someone of significant stature is watching. In that moment, their judgment of you began to reflect back upon them with an intensity they could not evade, as what they considered harmless banter now indicated deeper fractures, signs of prejudice, insecurity, and unspoken motives previously concealed. Yet, the situation escalates further. The influential figure did not stop at questioning, they sought you out. Not to engage with your critics or the loudest voices, but to understand your perspective, your truth, and your silence. They are drawn to comprehend why someone as palpably present as you would choose to wear garments that appeared ordinary but radiated an energy impossible to ignore. They ponder why you maintained calmness while others succumbed to anxiety, why your movements were grounded while others faltered. Most importantly, they wish to understand why people responded to you as if destiny itself had just entered the space. This curiosity is no mere coincidence, it signifies the workings of fate unveiling who is shielded and who is laid bare. Simultaneously, your critics are acutely aware of their tightening reality, they replay the moment of your entrance, acknowledging the fallacy of their prior assumptions. Their words lose their humor, transforming into recklessness. One individual struggles to find sleep as they incessantly replay their unconsidered remarks about you. Another rehearses justifications, terrified of the inquiries that lie ahead. The third, the instigator of the disparaging rumors, senses an inescapable tide of consequences beginning to rise. They feel scrutinized, questioned, and burdened by their own past actions. For the first time, the realization dawns upon them, you were never the one who was out of place, they were. Something far more significant is silently being orchestrated behind the scenes. An astute observer, capable of seeing past superficial appearances and preconceived narratives, is starting to unveil your true role. Your clothing did not diminish you, instead, it made you unforgettable. You became the catalyst that exposed what lay hidden beneath the surface. You became the focus of destiny's gaze. Soon enough, those who once derided you will find themselves silenced when the truth surfaces, because the next steps taken will not involve apologies but a revelation so profound that none will forget the moment when they misjudged you. Remain close, for the true turning point is on the verge of emergence, and all they assumed about you is poised to crumble under the weight of truth. Dear child, the stillness that precedes the storm is often the most misleading, and this is the space in which you currently stand. They perceive their world as having settled, that their whispers have dissipated, and their misconceptions about your attire have faded into obscurity. Yet the universe does not forget. The walls that bore witness to their judgments retain every detail. Moreover, the person in a position of power who became curious about you has not ceased their inquiry. Indeed, their intrigue has transformed into a resolute mission, not only to comprehend why someone of your caliber faced such swift misjudgment by those who claimed to possess an understanding of character, but also to investigate the sense that your appearance was not coincidental but orchestrated by destiny itself. The deeper they investigate, the more they discover connections that extend far beyond anyone's expectations. Behind closed doors, a remarkable comparison has emerged between their utterances and your reticence. Their misconceptions and your reality, their trepidation and your purpose. The repercussions have reverberated throughout the space. An important individual stood and posed a question that paralyzed everyone. If you were indeed who they claimed, then why does everything about your presence contradict that narrative? This single inquiry shattered their falsehoods and peeled away the layers of pretense they had relied upon. The very people who had judged you now find themselves scrutinized for their intentions, mentality, and failures. They presumed they could define you, yet they are now compelled to redefine themselves. Meanwhile, your name is now illuminated in a new context, one where decisions are made. Trajectories shift, and destinies are redirected. The powerful figure analyzing your journey senses an inexplicable weight in your presence, akin to an unseen force guiding your path, safeguarding your steps, and ensuring you are positioned precisely where you must be. They have detected nuances that your critics failed to acknowledge: the sincerity in your gaze, the steadiness of your breath, the humility in your demeanor. They perceive grace where others discern simplicity. They recognized potential where others only perceived assumptions. Now, they are eager to uncover what lies beneath the surface of the individual who inadvertently exposed an entire room. Tension is escalating among your critics. One has begun to avoid calls, another is deleting messages in an attempt to erase their traces, and the third, their most vocal detractor, who first ridiculed your attire, has come to realize that the situation is slipping from their grasp. Their previously unshakable arrogance is showing cracks, and their once certain voice now quivers. They sense an inevitable reckoning approaching, one they cannot evade, deny, or outrun, as destiny has turned its gaze toward them. What once seemed trivial is evolving into a pivotal moment that will impart one of life's most profound lessons. My dear child, destiny is not merely poised to elevate you, it is also ready to unveil your true self. This revelation will be so potent that the assumptions built around you will disintegrate like dust. It is a moment when your authentic identity, purpose, and potential will radiate in a manner that is impossible to suppress. Your attire was never the core narrative, it served as the catalyst, the challenge, the unveiling of your essence. The truth is now accelerating toward them with an unexpected force. Remain steadfast, for the moment of alignment is closer than you think. The moment when you rise, and they recognize who you truly are, is imminent. My beloved child, the shift that is occurring is no longer subtle. It is significant, evident, and impossible for them to ignore. Those who judged you based on your clothing can sense an overwhelming pressure encircling them, an influence they do not comprehend yet cannot escape. They feel as though they are under scrutiny, with a presence constantly reflecting their actions back at them with stark clarity. They frequently glance at exits, check their reflections, and look over their shoulders as if truth itself is pursuing them. And indeed, it is, as their misguided assumptions have reached the ears of someone intolerant of unfairness and superficial judgments. This individual has started piecing together the details of your journey, your presence, humility, and quiet strength, realizing that the perceptions they held were misguided. You were not merely misunderstood, you were misrepresented by those lacking the depth to appreciate the individual before them. Meanwhile, the influential figure analyzing your story has made an unexpected decision. Instead of questioning you based on outdated perceptions, they seek to understand you for who you truly are. They wish to grasp your vision, your journey, and the purpose behind your actions in the world. Their fascination with how someone simply attired can exude such grounded energy and significance is no longer casual, it has become intentional. They are actively reshaping opinions about you, dismantling the false narratives that have circulated behind your back. Your detractors are beginning to realize that the very garments they mocked are now the reason they find themselves under scrutiny. Their judgments did not unveil you, instead, they revealed their own shortcomings. The tension among your critics has become unbearable. One has attempted to deflect blame, claiming they did not mean what they said. Another tries to assert that it was merely a misunderstanding. Yet the most vocal critic cannot escape the weight of their previous words. Their intentions were too clear, their statements too pointed. They are now subjected to inquiries they struggle to address, and their confidence has evaporated, transforming their arrogance into regret. They now lament their past judgments, wishing they had not perceived you the way they did on that fateful day. They wish they had remained silent, refraining from attempting to confine you to a box that was never intended for you. The consequences of their actions are unfolding, and they feel utterly powerless to halt the momentum of what is coming. Child, you are unaware of how dramatically the tide of your narrative is turning in your favor. While they endeavored to diminish you, destiny has begun lifting you far beyond their reach. As they reduced you to your outward appearance, the universe has elevated you to your true essence. Your simplicity has become your shield, your humility your strength, and your presence is now your revelation. An influential individual speaks of you with newfound respect, curiosity, and admiration, qualities your detractors never anticipated would be associated with the person they once misjudged. Soon, your authentic identity, purpose, and value will stand before them, radiating a truth too luminous for them to ignore. Remain close, for the revelation of who you truly are approaches swiftly, and the shock it brings will redefine everything they thought they understood about you.